What do you find the most difficult, Seda? Getting started? Yeah, that's always difficult, definitely. I'm just trying to really get a hold of the basics. I haven't had a lot of guidance in art of my education, and I'm like really behind with some stuff. Perspective, for example. I don't mean to plug in my stuff. I don't mean to plug in, my products or anything like that, but I have written a book for those who have come late into our community. Our community is amazingly strong right now. I'm seeing improvement, like massive improvement. If you saw that one thing I posted about Anna, oh, she did the 14-day challenge and she followed all the class rules and she followed all of that stuff, and what we see is amazing improvement in her understanding of art altogether. And this I believe is the same issue that you're going through. Not knowing why you want to draw, but not knowing how to get started, or not knowing what to cover or make sure that you have. Look at that mammoth difference between before and after. And this is just after she entered our community. Oh, that's your name is Anna as well. That's awesome. So what she basically did was she exposed her art data. How you start is by uncovering your wound, taking off your bandage, and saying, "Hit me." I'm telling you, that's the only way you improve. The reason why that's the case is because people from all perspectives are telling you what's wrong with your image. What do you do as the creative force? Well, you change those things. You change them. You change them about your drawing, and then your drawing improves. You show it to another person. You paint something else. You say, "Hit me." They hit you. They show you where all the issues are, and then you change again. You can only improve when you request critiques. So, Seda, the best thing to do is sketch whatever you want to sketch. Sit there, watch a television, watch a show, watch whatever, and sketch. Just keep your hand on the sketchbook. Keep drawing. If you're doing it mainly digitally, stay on your computer, draw. I don't know, turn on a movie about art, turn on a documentary, and just sit there and draw, Seda. Draw. That's how you start. It's not, okay, send 10 minutes of meditation, then massage your hands, and then you can draw. No, you just shut the hell up. You sit there in front of your computer and you just draw something. Give yourself a, a subject. Say, one day I will draw a giraffe. The next day I'm going to draw an ear. The next day I'm going to draw a nose. And then as soon as you start forcing yourself to, what's going to happen, Seda? Your brain is going to start getting accustomed to this pattern, this practice. And what it's going to start doing is you're going to start remembering, last time I drew this, I used this kind of line. Oh, nice, this kind of line is working for me. Last time I did this, I shaded in this way. Okay, last time I did this, I used a shape. Oh, last time I did this, I didn't use a shape. Maybe I should use a shape this time. I swear to God, you can do anything if you break it down into parts. You can do anything. You can draw anything if you break it down into pieces. So, Seda, my number one piece of advice for you is don't stop drawing. Everything else will fall into place. And one of the best things to do with any school of thought is to get yourself surrounded by the people of your discourse. Get yourself surrounded by the same people you want to be like, or people who want to do what you want to do. Isn't there common sense in that? If you're going to be a hermit, if you're going to draw one sketch every 2 months, you're not going to improve any day anytime soon. But if you surround yourself with a community and you surround yourself with people that are constantly providing you with feedback, and no friend is more valuable than someone who helps you improve. Um, it's not about finding people that are like you so that you can show them and then that's it. No, you find people that are like you so that they can help you improve. Those are the best kinds of friends you can have. So surround yourself by the people that can help you, get where you want. And this community that we have, this Skype chat community, this YouTube community, any community in art, the whole world of art is your community. Just don't stop drawing. That's the catch. I mean, you can sit there in classes, but if you don't write the tests and you don't write the essays, you're not part of the class. And if you're not registered in the class, you're not part of the class. To be part of the class, you have to do the work. The work is drawing. If you want to improve, you draw. Period. That's it. And then everything else will fall into place. Everything else will, I swear to God, you will see this kind of before and after in your work. So I'm sorry if I seem over passionate. I'm sorry if I seem overzealous or anything, but I really don't like it when an artist has so much imaginative potential and they're just sitting there saying, I can't do it. I swear to God, you can do it. And if you don't think you can do it, I mean, I'm sure you have your own computer. I'm sure you have a tablet. If you don't, I'm sure you have a sketchbook and a pencil. And take it from me, I'm someone who grew up without even a pencil. Like I'm from that generation where there wasn't any tablets anywhere anytime soon in our budget. And I would go to the computers and I would print out stuff illegally in school. And I would get in a lot of trouble because they would see me with loads and loads of printer paper and loads of stuff that I haven't paid for. Because it was like 10 cents a page back when I was in grade 3 or grade 4. And I was like, screw this, I don't have 10 cents. So what I did was whenever it was computer hour or something, I would print out the preferences and I would work with them. I would trace, I would find rules, I would print out, I once printed out like a 50-page book in recess about how to use shapes to draw. It was like, I think it was it was free. I think, yeah, it was free. I don't know. I didn't use torrents back then. Torrents didn't exist. I used something. It was like an online how to draw website, like Oegaki. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but you draw and you upload, and this one person provided a PDF, and then I downloaded that. And if I can draw, if I, me, the most impatient person in the world, can draw and improve, I know you guys can, because you guys have us. You guys have each other. You guys have the fucking internet. You guys have Google. Like, how can you not improve? The only catch, Seda, the only catch is that you have to sit there and draw. That's it. And it's so much fun to draw. How is it hard? It's so much fun. You sit there, you draw something, you feel accomplished. You actually did something with your life. Imagine wasting that half an hour on Facebook. You're not going to get anything out of Facebook. So, everything else that distracts you, get it out of the way and just start drawing. That's the best piece of advice I can give you, because that's how I managed to not be, despite all the stuff that I didn't have, me personally, that's how I still managed to be an artist. Or I don't know if I can call myself an artist just yet, but that's how I managed to stay in the art world, by just drawing, by sitting there, having a pencil of anything, like, just a piece of coal, for God's sake. Burn a piece of wood and use it as charcoal. I don't know, but you'll draw something. I keep telling my wife and kids that. Yeah, I'm not, if I have kids, you can forget about the internet. We've been talking about homeschooling our kids if we ever have any. But yes, this link here, you guys can follow. I don't know if I gave you that link already. Did I? I think I did. But yes, just follow that, read through what she did. There's other showcases as well for the other students that improved with the 14-day challenge. You can challenge yourself, draw a face every day for 14 days. Make sure you get a critique on each day, and you will freaking improve like massive. Like the first day and day 1 and day 14, do you see these changes here? Day 1 and day 14, day 1 and day 14, day 1, day 14. I don't know if these were day 14s because some of these people didn't have day 14. They were earlier than day 14. So you can imagine what their day 14 would look like. Day 1, day 14. So much understanding, so much, she decreased the lights on the faces. She actually made the eyebrows less expressive, more stable. She kept the stuff that she was good at, so really, really beautiful, enchanting eyes, but she made sure everything is the same size. The noses were decreased, the eyebrows were decreased. The lips were. And I talk about it here and how to do that, so you can follow that there. I haven't left you guys in the dark. Everything that I've ever taught is available either in a book, in a YouTube video, or in an upload on DeviantArt. So the community is always going to stay. The community is always going to be here. The only one missing is you. Okay. So on to this one here. I love drawing faces, so critiquing faces is my favorite thing, so sorry if I'm a bit excited. More excited than I already have been. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm on the liquify. I went to filter, liquify, I'm on the liquify tool. And what I'm going to be doing, actually first let me show you what's wrong with the image, what I see as wrong. The main thing that I find is wrong is the face length, the size. There was a problem with the size. The size of the face was not matching what you were doing, and it was anatomically incorrect. And what does that mean? That means that it was too elongated, that if this girl were to be in real life, her face would look something like this. Narrow face. like this, but like worse. Her face is actually really pretty, but way worse. You have to always imagine the realistic version of what you're drawing so that to see, oh, wait a second, is this believable? Am I following the rules of anatomy? Am I doing this right? Once I fix that, and when the number one rule, you guys are going to find this out, is when you fix one thing, a bunch of other things are going to be obvious that you need to fix. Let me show you how big these eyes were. Just the eyes before I fix anything else. Before, after. And now that we've fixed the eyes, what else is wrong? The nose seems to be a bit large. Once we get that nose decreased a little bit, then we're going to notice something else. Okay, so actually that's a bit too small. And now that we've fixed the nose, everything else seems to be fitting just right. Everything just needs to be pushed back into the alignment lines, which is the horizontal lines of the face. You know those cross lines that teachers are always telling you to use? Those lines help tell you what size to make the eyes and where to put them on the face. Okay? And after I do that, remember to zoom out. Oh my god, I can't express zooming out enough. You guys have to zoom out. If you don't zoom out, what happens is that you start doing focused rendering or spot rendering, which always ruins the drawing. Always, always, always ruins it. There's always going to be one side that for some reason has more detail than everything else. So now I'm going to zoom out. The colors you've chosen are pretty good. Props for you for the colors you chose. Really good colors. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unify the tones. We're going to do a little bit of blending. What I usually do is I use a soft brush on low opacity. It's basically 50% opacity with 100% flow. And the reason why I do this is because skin glows, skin reflects light, skin has blood underneath it, and skin is most importantly transparent. You have to make sure that you're creating the feeling of see-through skin. When the skin is see-through, what it does is that it reflects all the other colors in it. Sorry, one second. Someone's messaging me and I don't want to ignore them. Oh, I don't know why Skype is doing that. See, Penny is sending me something. I think Oliver's sending me something too. No? See, I'm sorry, Penny. I wasn't ignoring you. It's just Skype is being I don't want to swear anymore. Where is this Penny? Sorry, I don't like... Okay, so there it is. Beautiful work already. Okay, so what was I saying? So yes, use a soft brush for skin when you want to create like perfect looking skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften the cheekbones. The way you did the cheekbones before, they were way too edgy. Actually, just from now, let's just look at the way you did the face before, just as a before and after. Are you ready? Whose is this, by the way? Is this Sada's? Before? Is this Ruben's? Ruben? Okay. So do you see before, Ruben? Do you see the massive eyes? You didn't really need them to be that big. Stop trolling, MMA. And then after. Do you see the beauty? Do you see how much beauty there was in your drawing? But you just didn't understand how to make the sizes, scaling. Does it really make sense to have eyes this large? No, you want to know what this is? You want to know who to blame? You need to get a stress ball and you need to write anime on it, and every time you make a mistake in measurement, you need to squish the crap out of that ball and let all your anger out on anime, because anime fucked up your understanding of anatomy. Anime fooled you people into thinking that yes, anime is good, realism is bad. That's not true. Anime made you guys believe that beauty is in a certain level, certain size of eyes. My husband, who's improved a massive amount, he's still, I'm telling him, shrink those eyes right now, and he still wants to keep the eyes bigger. He's almost there, but they're still big. They're still on the big side. What that does is it makes it look really, really fish-eyed, really scary, and anatomically incorrect. Keep away from large eyes. Instead of believing that anime is the god of all art, how about you go into the actual god of all art and look at realism? Realism is the ruler. This is where everything comes from. What is anime trying to draw? Anime is trying to draw realistically. but it's still messing up everything. Um, so just use realistic references and your art will soar. And if this is not enough proof for you, a great artist, really popular, Marta Dalig, I always use this example. She was asked, at what point did you realize that you were professional? At one point did you make the cross between beginner or intermediate into professional and advanced? She said, you know what her answer was? Does everyone want to hear her answer? I can be a bitch and answer it near the end of the stream so that you guys don't leave. Or I'll answer it now. Do you guys know what her answer was? The moment I realized that I cannot continue as an artist without using references. The moment I realized how important references were. Because at the end of the day, for some reason she had, or we all have, this illusion that artists can draw anything without references. Who made that rule up? Who made that? I got paid. That's true. Who made that rule up, though? Who made the rule that you guys have to do everything solo? That you guys have to, do it on your own. You're badass. I'm self-taught and I never used any references. No, that's not true. That's not how it's done. You have to use references to know what it looks like in real life, or else you're going to be making mistakes from now until the day you die, and you're going to be depressed all your life. Okay? I'm sorry, that's a bit extreme. Do you see, though, how her eyes are still big? This is still considered massive eyes. If you saw a girl with this eye color in real life, with eyes that large, you'd be like, holy crap, this girl's gorgeous. Let me show you. Okay. Do you see how this girl looks here? This is Aishwarya Rai. She's really beautiful. And this is how she looks without, and she's considered to be the one of most beautiful eyes. She's considered to have the most beautiful eyes ever. And the reason why she's considered that is because they're a little bit more larger than normal. They're almost the size of hers, but she's wearing makeup. So you see, you can still have the large effect. You can still have the beauty effect without making them anime massive. So another thing that I do is this everything that I'm doing right here. I can't, cover everything I've taught in the past year about portraiture. But what you can do is go to the YouTube videos and look for the critiques, 14-day challenge critiques. Anything that's gray, any drawing that's gray, it's just a head, it's just a bust, that's the 14-day challenge critique. And look at that and see how I talk about unifying all of the things. Make sure you don't have too many edges. Make sure that there's always a feeling of skin over all the features. And most importantly, the 6 dark spots of the face. They help you draw the face. So right now you have 2 of them or 4 of them, which is the 2 irises here and the 2 nostrils. But you need 2 more. You want to know where they are, Ruben? As soon as you add them, you're going to notice something's changed drastically about the image. Do you want to know where they are? The 2 corners of the lips. As soon as you add them in, you're going to be like, that's what this was missing. You can literally paint a face in a couple seconds as long as you have the 6 dark spots. Once you have those, you're set. That's a promise I make. All those painterly images, all those sketchy speed paintings of faces, all of those have the 6 dark spots. And a couple, there's another also a set, the 10 or 12 light spots depending on your style. And I'll show you those in a second. But all of those are important. They're vital to creating a convincing looking set of lips, convincing looking nose. Look at the how to paint nose video. That video is really helpful. I wish I had that video when I was younger. But then I had to be myself and go through what I went through in order to know all that. But still, I wish I had some advice when I was younger because I drew flat, long noses for the longest time. And it's because I didn't really think about it shape-wise. The light spots are the 2 cheekbones, the 2 areas under the eyebrows, the 2 inner corners. This is all in the book. This is all in the videos and everywhere else. The tear ducts, the 2 areas, the milk mustache I call them, the nose, and the chin. All those areas are the light spots. And you just have to soften up, see what you don't need. And blending is about not sacrificing edges, but seeing which edges are least important. and which edges will make her look older instead of making her look younger. So she needs a shadow here and there because of those wings. And something that I talk about a lot is also eyebrows. The way we draw eyebrows, it tends to be way too fake. And I always go to Google and I always show you scows brows or drawn in brows or penciled in brows or Sharpie brows. Some women in real life pluck their brows only to want to draw them back on. I really never understood that, but that's how it looks like sometimes in the drawings I get to critique. So what you have to do is always do a nice halo of darkness to represent all of the loose hair. Hair doesn't just grow in the eyebrow area, it grows all around the eyebrow, small hairs, big hairs. And that's why you have to sort of present a shadow first, and then, she looks a bit angry, so I'm just going to push it up. And then draw in the actual hairs with a smaller brush. And the key is to keep your brush large. Do you see how my brush is not decreasing in size? I think you can see the brushes on Livestream. The brush icon, I mean. Okay, and you need to make sure you have those shadows all around the face. And you have these nice lines on her cheekbones. If there's no secondary light source, then those lines aren't going to be there. If the secondary light source is purple, which will be really, really cool, then yes, incorporate those in. So let me show you what that will do. It'll be a really, really nice trick. Get a new layer and then just throw in the purples on her jawline that is capturing the light. It's going to be a nice trick to making her look more three-dimensional and incorporating some of the surrounding palette into the drawing. Okay, and all of this is really important if you want to improve. I mean, this stuff can limit your style, and it won't help you improve depending on the kind of style you're painting. I mean, if you're painting children's book style and you're worrying too much about the realism, but you have to have a certain degree of unrealistic rendition, then it's going to ruin your style, no question, because this is realism. But if you want that realism that will get you hired by Magic the Gathering, that will get you hired by Blizzard, that will get you hired by League of Legends, and you draw their next character, then this is the kind of style you need. This realistic, not style, this is the kind of strictness level that you need. Okay? And then see how her eyes are still massive? Like if you saw a girl in real life with eyes like this, you'd want to hire her to be a model or something. Her eyes are still massive. What I just did, Ruben, is I brought down all the dark colors. We don't need them to be that dark. Let me show you what happens when I bring them back in, only in the areas that need them. So this is something that I teach a lot. You only should use the darks in the areas that you need them. Imagine that you bought only a tiny bit of black from this art store and a tiny bit of white. You cannot overuse because you'll run out. Imagine you paid like $10,000 for the ounce. You have to make sure you use the right amount. Okay, so I'm going to only place it in the nostril area. I might even decrease, if it was for me, I would decrease the eyes just a bit more. Now that I'm making it look more and more realistic, I'd want to decrease the eyes just a bit more. Actually, one second, that looked really cool. Like a fashion thing. Anyways, just getting away with myself. Merge down, filter, liquefy. But do you see how large the eyes were before, Ruben? Just decrease them just a touch more. Imagine it's printer ink. You're so funny, Ruben. We need you around more often. Yes, imagine it's friggin' HP printer ink. God damn. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in the shadows, like makeup shadows, and I'm going to just line the eye with them. And remember, as much as you paint the upper eyelid, you paint the bottom lid. I don't know why people neglect the bottom lid so much. There's also a very big shadow, the shadow you need it. What shadow is this? The shadow of the upper eyelid on the eyeball. This is a very, very important shadow. Okay, and then we have her eye lights. What I'm going to do is just get my sharpen tool and instead of wasting time rendering and shrinking my brush, I just get the sharpen tool and it sharpens it for me. And then get some of that light, maybe it's like a yellowy light, and place it on the areas that are catching the light on the face. So the whites here, and some of the whites here. And because she's surrounded by purple, instead of using a peachy pink, I'm going to use some of the purple pink to draw the inner corner. You know how every eye has that pink inside in the tear duct area? Well, instead of using a pink, I'm going to use the purple pink to unify the palette. I'm also going to use some of that same pink on her cheeks. Look at how that's unifying the palette. She seems like she's in the same room as the everything else that's surrounding her. I'm also going to place some of that purple on her eyes as well, because the green seems to stand out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to find one more color, which is a very peachy light source color. Maybe it's the sun, whatever. And I'm not going to use it in its entirety, but I'm going to place it in areas that really need it. So all the light spots, remember, that's the important thing. And really it's up to you where you want to take this. If I were you, I'd give her like really purpley lipstick, and I would really dress her up like something like this, which actually looks pretty cool. Put a little bit of blush there. I would just change her eyes to purple. That'd just be too cool. But the green works too. Or gray now. It's almost a gray. Okay, and then at this point, yes, you're allowed to shrink your brush. At this point, go ahead and shrink it. Add some hairs for the eyebrows. And all of this stuff can be found in the videos why I use this specific method. Basically, I drop tool the color that is outside of the eyebrows and bring it down into the eyebrows. That way it looks like the hairs are growing downward instead of just out. And you'll see the before and after, and it's not magic. I didn't use hocus pocus. The only thing that I really did was I just remembered the rules and I followed them. And the more you practice, the more the rules will be ready for you to remember. Some artists like to overdo the lashes. I like to have very muted lashes. I used to do it really over the top. If you look at my old stuff, really immature of me as well, but those are my crazy days. And now I'm going to get a completely black, and the only place you can use a black that black is in the iris, or eye pupil I think it's called, yes, to create depth in the anatomy of the eye. That's it. And then there's loads of brushes, lip brushes, all kinds of textured brushes you can use to make the lips look more textured and realistic, all kinds of stuff. Do you notice how the eyes are still massive and how she's still beautiful and how it's still anime friendly, but it's not anime turned realistic? Do you notice all of this? I'm just trying to create a convincing thing. What I would do is just dramatize the light completely. Like I would just shadow up the whole upper area. See how cool that looks? Maybe shadow off the bottom area as well. Yeah? But it's your choice, you know, whatever you want to do. That's what I would do. But save, wait, flatten, save, okay. I'm sorry I'm not looking at the comments. I just wanted to focus on the crit. What did I say? Crit. Oh, so preppy. Okay, just darken the upper lip. And you're ready for the before and after, Ruben? Okay. This is the before. Did I change anything? Did I change anything that badly? Did I ruin your style that much by adding a little bit of realism and just lifting up the shadows a little bit? No. But I did make it so that it's hireable. I made it so that it's believable. I applied the rules of realism to it so that the sciencey part of art is considered at last, and it's not just about anime. It's not just about being a solo artist and forgetting realism and for some reason inventing your own reality. I mean, if people look like this in real life, then okay, this is exactly accurate, but they don't. And people are going to notice that. And they're going to get all, some of them are going to be really rude about it too. And then after. I kind of hit the realism a bit hard. You know me, like I like a little bit of realism in my work. But you can backtrack a little bit. I mean, you didn't have to put all of that stuff. You can backtrack a little bit. You can do a lot of different stuff, but do you see how elongated and how large the eyes were before? You can keep the same painting style you did. You don't have to use the same brush I used. You don't have to use the same colors I used. You don't even have to be here. But what's the point of being here? To get another person's perspective and see if you want to take some of it and see if you want to leave some behind. So before, after. People respond to realism. That's the point here. People respond to it. It's important to them. Because why? Why? Why is it so important? You can easily say, fuck you, audience, leave me the fuck alone. I like my style and leave me alone. Why is it though? Because people are your audience, number one, and they're escapees. They want to escape reality. But they don't want to escape reality and enter like a weird reality that Salvador Dali built. They want to have everything the same. It's just that, there's more magic involved. So convince them that it's a real world, but it has a little bit of magic in it. And if you don't believe me on that escapism metaphor, look at MMORPGs of today. They're soaring. Look at friggin' World of Warcraft and Skyrim Online, or that's soon to be, and League of Legends, and oh my God, people just want to get out of here. They want to escape the reality and they want to get into something different, and they want a little bit of realism to help them do that. So I'm going to send that to you. I hope it's helped. And I'm going to go on to Penny's. It's been a while, Penny. Are you still here? I hope that was easy for you to understand. You can add my Skype, Ruben, and I'll send you back the original file. That's how I send back the files for my students. As for being part of the chat group is lagging because there's like 200 plus people in it now. And so it's going to be lagging a lot. So I'm just going to keep whoever's there in there. And anyone who wants to talk to me can message me privately. That way you get me faster actually than using the chat. But if you really, really want to be part of the chat, I'm going to try to find some inactive people and just kick them out, which is something I did a month ago. They got a little bit mad about it. Okay, so Mrs. Penny. Some tiny little issues with this image. Actually, let me just decrease the size. You're all crazy with your sizes. Jesus, what's wrong with you people? You guys have the best computers or something? Nostrils perfect, nose is perfect, really beautiful, lips are really well done. You've really mastered the features, Penny, but you need to think about the fundamentals about how to present those features on the subject, which is, sorry, I have asthma, so I'm kind of like out of breath. Had to run the other room. But yeah, so I'm just gonna catch my breath and y'all can talk. My gateway can take on canvas is 10,000. Oh my God, you guys are crazy. Okay. So let's do the before and after now, Penny. Ready? Before, after. Do you see how her jaw was like squished and pushed upward? She's still her. She's still her in all her beauty, but really beautiful concept, by the way. Wow. But now she is nice hair as well. Jeez. But now her face is a bit more realistic, less crushed. The next thing I sort of have trouble. Maybe that's their species or that's their kind of peoples. But I would change the color of the eyeball. The white part. That part should always be white because as soon as that's changed, things get a bit iffy. And then I'm going to throw in that shadow that I talked about of the upper eyelid. And I'm also going to place in some light. The eyes are very well done, but I need to have the edge of the eye visible, discernible from the rest of the image. because that's what makes eyes believable, when you have that edge and you have the iris and you have the light. So you had the light, you had the iris, but you were missing the edge. And that made them halfway to realism. So to make eyes look like they're looking at a specific spot in front of them is to make them crossed, but sometimes when an object is looking at something else, the object, not either eye has to move. Not both eyes have to move. Just one has to move sometimes. So you have to think about that next time you... Yeah, and then I'm just going to throw some light. Yeah, what is this woman's story? It's very, very beautiful. I'm going to bring in the saturation tool and saturate the eyeballs. To really bring in some color, because as you can tell, the colors are really, really muted. So when we saturate her colors a little bit, they tend to be, it tends to sort of fix everything. I'm going to also bring down the reds I just saturated. Keep just the eyes. Okay. Also, it looks like she's wearing really dark lipstick or a really dark nude shade. So to give a little bit more life to her face, I'm also going to saturate her lips just a touch and her cheeks here and there to make them look a little bit more alive. Do you see what that did? Take a little bit of a look, Penny. Before, tiny little change, but what it does is it brings the image to life. After, they seem to be alive. Well, it's really your style. There's some artists that desaturate all the time and it still looks friggin' amazing. So it's really depends on you. If it was me, I would saturate a little bit more because I'm sort of obsessed with the realistic look. Well, I shouldn't be. I really should be experimenting a little bit more. I'm going to throw a little bit of a shadow under her nose. If you guys followed the how to paint nose video, this is the part that we refer to as the wife that is cheating between... I don't know, I think we were high when I made that video. I don't know. I don't get high, but must have been high on something. High on art. But we call that the wife. Okay, the tip of the nose. If you guys, you'll understand what I'm saying if you watch the video. Remember that halo that I talk about of black? Sort of not really a halo. It's just a shadow of black over all the eyebrows. I'm just going to put that on the eyebrows here to make them look a little bit realistic. Because remember, Penny, hair casts a shadow. No, I'm not. Also, we need some of the light under the eyebrow. Okay. So that, you know, how the socket line, and there's the brow bone catching the light. We need some of that light on the eyebrows, on the brow bone as well. And you see this hairline color? You see this hairline color you chose? I'm gonna drop tool that and throw it all around the face. Just need to zoom out. Because what that will do is it will frame the face and it will tell the audience where this part of the head is facing, and it's facing to the sides. And that's really what's going on here. All these critiques, I really take them overboard with realism. I really consider it as overboard. Some of you might not consider it as overboard. Some of you might consider it as sort of a push in the realistic direction. But remember, there's some stuff that you can take and some stuff that you can throw away. You don't have to take everything that I say as set in stone or anything. Remember, art is about trying your own methods, making sure you know which rules to follow. But the saying goes, you have to know the rules to break them. What I did was I shrunk my brush, but I'm still zoomed out. This is going to help me create a convincing looking hairline. Okay, burn on midtones. Just going to burn that area there. Okay. And I'm just trying to create more hair. Sharpen that. And with a couple, by making sure I zoomed out, the hair now looks a little bit more realistic than before. Before, after. It's because you're introducing the small hairs, which is a big part of hair. Everything is made of a small thing. Like everything is compiled together by small things to be one large thing. And hair is a very obvious example of that because it's a lot of small hairs or a lot of single, thin, long hairs bundled together to be one large entity we call hair. So how do you paint that without considering these chunks first? And I'm not saying go in there with a tiny brush and paint the whole thing because Penny already did that. She did the part that you're supposed to do, which is paint with a large brush and then jump into a small brush. Just illuminating the sides of her hair here and there. Protect the tones. Hair it likes to follow its own rules. I don't know how to say it. It just, when it reflects light in the same stream. And I'm just drop tooling the colors Penny already has in there, and I'm taking the realism one step further. Remember, be patient with yourself. If you're not improving today, if you're not improving tomorrow or the day after, you're going to improve the day after that. You just have to be patient with your brain. Believe your brain will do it for you, and don't go looking at professional work only to depress you. Look at professional work to encourage you. To say, God damn, if they can do it, I can do it. It's not that hard. Jeez. Men have gone to the moon, and, well, I don't believe they have, but, you know, people have done big things. Just throwing stuff there. Well, she was already beautiful, Penny. The way you drew her was already getting there. I mean, it's so captivating. But what I'm doing is I'm just introducing a little bit of detail and a little bit of alignment and a little bit of realism. Just a touch more realism. It was already realistic. It wasn't lacking. Just a touch more. One thing that I don't recommend you do, and it's going to look like this guy, and you don't want him to look, and you don't want anything to look like man from Prometheus. He was like colorless, like, oh my god, it was so scary. He scares the crud out of me. Let me show you what he looks like. He's got darkness only on the top, and for some reason his lower eyelids just have zero color in them, and it is literally the freakiest thing because it looks so alien-y. So what to do is to bring in some shadow on the lower eyelid, just a little bit even. If it's against your style, just do a little bit, just a small amount, so that she doesn't look like she's wearing loads of concealer under her eyelid. What this will accomplish is a realistic fold of the skin and a realistic casting of shadows depending on where the light source is coming from. Do you see what that did? It made her eyes so approachable and so much softer and so beautiful. It's just setting the stage. The eyes are such big important parts of realism and art altogether. The eyes are just, you can just draw eyes for the rest of your life and you'll make a living out of it. Okay, make sure that not every part of the eyelid is visible on the top, Penny. There's some part of it that is in the shadow, like you have in one eye. And remember that the lip corner isn't just an actual dark chunk, it's shadows, it's gradual shadows. So there's some of the dark spot is on the skin on the face, not just on the lip. And even though it might not be the same shade or the same color, it still extends to that point. Just gotta zoom out. Sorry if you can't see. Okay, so remember, if you want to improve in art, Surround yourself with a community of improvement, with the attitude of improvement. If you surround yourself with your preppy friends that only like to party, you're not going to improve. If you surround yourself, if you keep taking shifts just so that you can have money in your pocket, but your art is suffering for it, you're not going to improve. Sacrifice. That's what it takes. And it shouldn't be. And once you find your community, it's not going to be sacrificing. It's going to be fun. But if right now you're not improving and your lifestyle is the blame, sacrifice that lifestyle. If it's not helping you, why the heck are you pursuing it? If something isn't good for you, why do you eat it? So if you have friends that aren't helping you improve, if you have a habit like playing games 24/7, or I'll just do one League of Legends match and I'll be off. That's not gonna help you. That's not good for you. So you're not gonna improve like that. So the shadow of her neck seems to be sort of evened out too much, and so it needs to be just a bit. Because remember, the chin sticks out, Penny. Like if you put your hand on your chin and then go down all the way to your neck, you see how that long traveling process? And also her neck was just a touch too thick. And then one last trip to the liquefy doctor, and that's just to pull the chin down. Okay, and I just need to continue that shadow on either side. And continue the realism. Okay, and you see this dark spot in her hair right here and here? This is way too dark. You need to ease up on that a little bit. Use that area to present some nice chunks of hair instead. And it can be dark, but it has to be dark, first of all, with a little bit of red in it. Not because of the blood, but because it was just a bit too saturated. There was a bit too much gray in there. And it has to be in the exact right spot. Before, it was just the whole area was too dark. It only needs to be one small area where the light is actually not reaching. Okay? And what I recommend is not doing this kind of framing, because you're not framing the head, so this shouldn't be framed. Either that or you continue the stuff like that. If it's a skin tight thing, then there's going to be a little bit of, it's not skin tight, but there's going to be the shadow of the collarbone. It's a nice little addition right there, because it's sort of tight on her. Okay, and a little bit of a darkness halo on the shoulders. To show where the shoulders are. Do you see what that did, Penny? Now she has shoulders, now she has girth, now she has a three-dimensional value in her. Okay, and then we'll do a before and after. You ready for a before and after? Just gonna drink some water. Wait for the response. Oh, damn. You responded before I could drink water. 1 second. Okay. So, before. Do you see what I mean? How the face was crushed, like squeezed down? The blue of the eyes was a bit too much. The shadow of the upper eyelid was okay, but the bottom eyelid was suffering. The hair was really good. I was just having fun with the hair. I was just trying to add some more detail. The neck was too thick. The lip was too dark. You know how when some people smoke, Penny, their lips get dark? Let me show you what I mean. This is what happens when you overly desaturate I don't know. In some men, it's just really dark. You can tell. No, man, I'm not looking for lip fillers. It's just people who smoke. You can tell that they smoke. They have like these really dark lips. Ew. Oh, it's getting grosser. Cigarette. lips. I notice it in, man, I'm not trying to find that crap. Screw you, Google. You failed me today. But yes, sometimes it just looks like a smoker's lips. Because it's so dark, you know? And then after. Still the same girl, but now her shoulders are less tensed, so her shoulders are down a little bit because her neck seems less thick. That size change. And her neck is less fat, so it's more skinny. It's still the same girl, but now her eyes are more believable. They're more alive. So there's the white of the eyes, and then there's the color of the eyes. Even if her eyes were brown, even if you made her eyes brown, let's make her eyes brown. I think she'd look really pretty with brown eyes. Okay. There still needs to be that hint of color in there. Do you see that? There still needs to be that outline, just a little bit, you know, not too much. You don't have to make her a completely different person, but just a little outline around the eyes. Yeah, I think brown eyes is totally perfect for this painting, like shit. But yeah, do you see what I mean? Okay. One thing I would like to add is the eye color, the pink stuff of the eye. It'll really bring it to life. If you look at the mirror of your reflection, you'll see that there's a pink thing around a pink outline, which is the tear duct area around your eye. And if you do that in the painting, it'll look more realistic. It'll prove that the eyes can function. I kind of like brown eyes for this. I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, I'm gonna use some of that brown I used for the eyebrows. For the eyes, for the cheeks to create a little bit of cheekbone, and then to cut off the hair from or to merge it at least on the side. Everything changes when you choose one color difference. And I'm going to push in her cheekbones just a touch. Her cheekbones were, her jaw was a bit big. And the reason why it was big, Penny, remember, it was because the neck was big. Now let me show you something else to do with the neck to make her a little bit more relaxed. So, before, after. She was like tensing her neck before. And then save, and then we'll do the before and after again. Before, her lip was a bit wide for her face. It was a bit squished horizontally. Her neck was a bit big. The eyes needed the eye white. I added the pinks, and then we have that.